Listen, let me thank you for one very specific thing. Jonal Labs is all the evidence this country needs that manufacturing is alive and well. You guys are doing fantastic work here and expanding. I mean, it is so heartwarming to hear about your plans to potentially double or triple your footprint over the coming years. To hear how aggressive Mark and your team has been in going out and finding new business. I was really pleased to come here and just spend a few minutes with one of your potential new big customers just to let them know how involved this company is in the community and how the legislative delegation here in Meriden is committed to all of you. And what you really represent here is the future of manufacturing in this state. You're doing high precision, high value added manufacturing, and that's how we're going to compete as a nation going forward. We're seeing the reindustrialization of this country happening right now. We've actually added about 200,000 manufacturing jobs in this country over the past several years. And it's due to the fact that companies like Jonal Labs have figured out how to combine research and development and manufacturing. That you are at the same time manufacturing great products and developing new cutting-edge products. That's why you have these major Fortune 50 companies coming to you and asking you to do more business, because you are on the cutting edge of American manufacturing. I'm running for the United States Senate to be a partner in your growth. And let me tell you one of the ways in which I think that government can help. About 1/4 of your work here is related to defense manufacturing. One of your biggest customers is the United States government. And what we need to do is to make sure that when the federal government is purchasing things for this country, that it's buying those things from American companies. That's not happening often enough today. When we send our taxpayer dollars to Washington, and they're used to buy things for the Department of Defense or the Department of Homeland Security, we're seeing billions of our own taxpayer dollars go overseas to buy things from your European competitors, or to buy things from Chinese manufacturers or Mexican manufacturers. It's one thing for a private company to decide how to spend their money. It's another thing for the federal government to decide to use our money to create jobs in China or Europe or Mexico instead of here in the United States. So Mark mentioned that I founded an organization in Washington called the Buy America Caucus. I'm leading the fight in Washington to stand up for the simple premise that our taxpayer dollars should be used to buy things here in the United States rather than overseas. And we think that simply by closing some of the loopholes in the existing Buy America law, there's a law that's been on the books since 1933 that says that 50% of everything the United States government buys has to come from domestic companies. Well, the problem is that we've built loophole after exception into that law, such that today sometimes only 20 or 30% of the components of a jet engine or the components of a submarine may come from American manufacturers. I think we should increase that percentage from 50 to at least 60%, and I think we should close the loopholes. If we close the loopholes, we could create up to 600,000 jobs, manufacturing jobs, in this country, without increasing the amount of money we're spending as a government. Just saying, let's better target our money that we're already spending on American manufacturers. And we've seen some success in the Buy America movement. In the last year, the administration approved $4 billion less in exceptions to the Buy America law than they did the year prior. Now, I won't take all the credit for that, but I think the pressure that we are putting on the administration to tighten up how they approve exceptions to the Buy America law is bearing fruit for American companies. And my hope is that that trend continues. But let me talk about this race for 1 second. That trend won't continue if this state elects Linda McMahon as our next senator. And I want to talk to you for a second about the differences between her and I in this race, because in 30 days you're all going to go to the polls. And you're going to make a decision as to which one of us is going to better stand up for you. Now, you've seen my personal commitment to this company. You know that I'll be here anytime you need me in order to fight for contracts. But that's not the only job of a representative. You also have to go and cast the right votes in Washington. You've seen how I've led on the Buy America effort. I've never heard Linda McMahon talk about the importance of making sure that federal contracts stay in this country. And maybe that's because of how she ran her own business. Linda McMahon shipped a lot of jobs overseas in order to continue making salaries of $30 and $40 million a year. Linda McMahon was one of these CEOs that profited from shipping work overseas instead of trying to find a way to get it done here in the United States. Even worse, Linda McMahon signed a pledge to a lobbying group in Washington saying that she would never ever vote to close loopholes that allow for our jobs to be shipped overseas. See, to me, it's pretty simple. We should be giving tax breaks to companies that insource, to companies that create jobs here in America or bring their work back from overseas into this country. Linda McMahon has signed a pledge saying that she won't vote to close those loopholes and that she would continue this policy of giving tax breaks to companies that ship jobs overseas instead of giving tax breaks to companies that locate here. There's a big difference between Linda McMahon and I in terms of how we've spent our careers. I've spent my career standing up for manufacturing, fighting to make sure that our taxpayer dollars are spent on goods produced here in this country. Linda McMahon has spent her career in maximizing her profits through outsourcing. And in terms of our platforms going forward, I'm going to continue to work on Buy American, on the Buy American effort. Linda McMahon ignores that issue. I'm going to fight for tax breaks for companies that keep jobs here, and I'm going to fight to end tax breaks for companies that ship jobs overseas. Linda McMahon would continue those tax breaks that hurt American jobs. There's a big contrast in this race when it comes to manufacturing. I'm really proud of what you've done here. I'm really proud about what your future is going to be. And your success, both today and in the future, has been what's inspired me to work so hard on the issue of manufacturing. I care about manufacturing because I've heard loud and clear from companies here in Connecticut that their congressman and their next senator has to work on manufacturing. My jobs plan is rooted and anchored here in Connecticut. Linda McMahon's jobs plan seems to be anchored in right-wing Republican talking points that may benefit that political party but don't benefit the people of the state. So, Mark, again, thank you very much for having me here. I really appreciate your hospitality. Once again, you know that I'll be here anytime that you need me, not only to fight for your company on a contract-by-contract basis, but to fight for you when it comes to policy in Washington. Thank you very much.